We are just 10 more days away from Kalki 298 AD and the marketing is on full swing. They have now released a video and it's called the Prelude of Kalki 298 AD episode 1, and I'm checking out the English version, which is interestingly longer than the Telugu version. I'm guessing these are videos to just set you up for what to expect from the film. I'm already sold, but I would love to hear what director has to say. Hopefully it's not like, you're saying the same thing which you're gonna see in the film, so it becomes, repetitive. But let's hear from the director himself, Ashwin.
How the first chapter of our world is going to look like.
First chapter,
In India, we've grown up the epics, especially Mahabharata and Ramayana.
Yes.
Another age to go, and that age is the final battle.
Okay.
In India, we've grown up with so much of the epics, especially Mahabharata and Ramayana, being part of our culture and everyday life.
One thing he mentioned in that interview which I reacted to, check it on the channel. He talked about, how, reading all these stories and hearing, and it used to give him goosebumps. And I remember, watching Mahabharat, playing, or Ramayana playing. There were so many really awesome moments, which feel like, oh my God, this is so interesting, There's so many plot details and storylines and character arcs which are so amazing, and it gives you that high just listening and watching it. So taking that inspiration from that and creating something of your own, there's so much pressure as well as so much potential there. So that's why I'm more excited. If it was just a science fiction film, I would be excited, but I'm more excited because it's connected to our own culture and our own mythology.
Especially not just religious, but just like even just stories that we tell our kids.
And a blue screen, green screen.
When you grow up and you're watching a lot of, I guess, foreign films which are in the either comic book space or Marvel or Spider-Man.
Interesting, he talks
or
about
Star
it.
Wars or any of those things. You always wonder, like, where are our superheroes? Because they are as heroic and they are as larger than life as anybody else. I think I heard
That's true.
that slowly people across India were more interested, or they
Concept
were starting
art.
to think about making movies like this. I heard some talk about somebody talking about Immortals and some studio trying to think about it, and I was like, okay, now it's time for us to. And the world of Kalki is something that we are saying is almost like a sequel to the last epic that we have of these characters of the previous yuga. So the previous yuga in India, in Indian culture, we have 4 yugas, right? So
Yep.
Each yuga has a sort of a dramatic battle and a great good versus evil sort of a setup, and each time an avatar comes to restore the balance. And the last great epic that we have is the Mahabharata, where it was like a huge war with the most powerful and the most epic kings, and they fight in this dramatic battle, and they are, one side is protected by an avatar, a god figure, which is Krishna. Final epic
It itself gives me so much goosebumps.
is the last story that we know, and all of our greatest characters from there have an ending, or some of them have an open ending, or we know that this is where this story ended, but we still have another age to go, and that age is the final battle. That age is where the end essentially has to begin, and everything has to come to a climax. Like all of these stories, all of these 9 avatars, all of these 4 yugas, all of these battles which are small and big that happened since the creation of time has to end somewhere. So we tried to see if we could attempt to write that.
That's such ambitious thing to go after, because there'll be so many naysayers and we are already seeing it, not just in terms of you're touching a very sensitive thing and like taking forward that in your own interpretation, but also people are already calling out a Hollywood copy and VFX and this and that, already degrading just from the trailer. They're degrading the film. So there are people with that thought process that whatever we do, it will always be inferior and it's a copy of Hollywood and it's always should be bashed down. That's the process. That's how they think, the mindset they have gotten over time.
And that's how we started, and that's where the last story of our mythology sort of ends. And now we are meant to be in the last age, which is called the Kali Yuga.
Yep.
And we don't really have a story of this era or of this yuga, because it's still happening.
That's why you bring your own version and your interpretation there.
And I just thought it is a very interesting idea if we if you start writing a sequel to the Mahabharata,
Oh my
what
God. When you put it like that, it just, oh, the pressure, the ambition, too high.
would happen, because it ended there and Kali continues from Dwapar Yuga and he has to come into the Kali Yuga. So now if he comes in, now our heroes have to come in as well. And how is this epic going to be? How are we going to write this? And I wanted to write it in a way that it's today and it's for the whole world to be part of it now, because it's not just because it was never, I think, ever just one country. It's always the world. So I thought we'll write it in that sensibility, and hence 5 years later we are here and we are close to being able to share with you how the first part, how the first chapter of our world is going to look like.
Using footage from that glimpse, huh? This is really nice, for people who may be watching in outside from India. They don't know all these cultural things and the backstory, in a sense that this is good way to explain to them and get them familiar with what they're getting into. A character like Ashwatthama, right? We all know that character, like we know his backstory in a sense, right? We know where he's coming from. Of course, I think the film will kind of mentions it. We will already have a knowledge of this character going into the film. It's not about what interpretation of the character, what the character is. Backstory is same, right? So that we all know. So we are going into a film, a new film, already knowing one of the characters. So that's pretty interesting for us. But people who don't know that, they might not, feel like they are fall back and they don't understand and they need more research and all. You don't want audience to do homework and come, right? It should be, a story should be open to everyone. That's the mark of a good story. And I think this kind of helps them in a way to understand how to approach it, in a way help that. But I would assume the film is good enough that just by watching it, you understand it, what is going on. Maybe if you want to delve more into it, you read, research about it, you get more understanding of it. But even if without all of that, still the film works. That is very, very important. And I like this, the marketing team, because I recently in his interview, he has like white hair. So it's been some time. So I don't know if this video is recorded today or not today, like this month or this year. I think it's shot while they were shooting in out that set. And like they have been, planning the marketing, everything. Like you have to put a lot of effort into making the film. But these side things which actually help the film go forward, the marketing strategy, or, you're planning that throughout. Like making of Bujji we got, they were recording everything behind the scenes. So they were planning all of that, from day one. It's not like now we have made the film, now let's think about marketing. That's not the case, which is really good. That tells you that they are very sure of what they're doing. They're very planned. It's not like oh, let's just make a big sci-fi film and today let's do this and tomorrow let's do that and whatever, just release the film. That's what we have seen in the past so many times with so many other films. I think that's the difference between those films and this film, which makes it stand out. Now, this was just episode 1. I'm not assuming we're going to get any more trailers, teasers. I don't want to see more footage. Maybe episode 1, they said definitely more episodes will come out till the release happens. And just cannot wait, yeah. But let me know. I need to watch his other films. I've only seen Mahanati by him, which is outstanding. But I need to see his other films also. And also, if any Prabhas film I should watch before this comes out, maybe one of his popular ones, the older ones, which I have not seen. I think after Bahubali, I've seen most of his films. So, have I? Yeah. Venadi Purush. But anyways, let me know that, your thoughts in the comments below. And you can check out this video next, and I will see you next time.